Hey guys, um, just trying to see if I got things set up right before. Hey guys, um, just trying to see if I got things set up right. I got, first time using a mic, so I have my phone here making sure that I sounded okay. It's kind of not the ideal setup. Uh, I've got it muted now, so I'm gonna try to get some more coloring done on this today. I kind of, when you start something, you never really know where to start until you just get started. Uh, so I guess I'll start coloring our skin tone. These are the start points where I'm trying to decide do I want to do this all on one layer or do I want to do it on separate layers? Probably gonna do it on separate layers. And I haven't done this, so I need to go ahead and label my layers. I'm afraid I'm going to forget what all these are. Original lines. It's kind of hard to type when you have a stylus in your hand. This is my rough sketch that I did, which I could probably delete, but I'm one of those people that like to keep everything regardless if I need it or not, because truly I have to wonder, am I ever gonna go back to the sketch and get something from it? Probably not, but I don't want to delete it and lose it, so it's part of the problem I have. I have my background. I'm trying to move towards more like pastel colored work, at least on this, and I don't know, I've just been interested in that lately. So I'm kind of using this as my try out. Come on, why do they do this to me? I do not know. New layer. I'm gonna make this skin. Yeah, I've just noticed a lot of people using pastel colors lately, and I really like that look. And I wanted to see if I could get something similar to it. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Kind of a peach skin. Most of my work I usually do with bright colors, so I haven't really worked too much with pastel. I might have to make her skin a little bit darker than that, because couldn't tell where the outlines were. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what. I'll probably just end up coloring through this. I know a lot of other artists just splash in color really quick and then refine it, but I stay very much what I call coloring book like and color inside the lines for the most part. Sometimes if it's a overlap and I'm going to color over it, I don't care so much, but I try not to have to make more work for myself by erasing things. And overall, most of this stuff will have little adjustments here and there as you work through it. As frustrating as coloring can be, it can also be pretty relaxing. I don't like to do too much zooming in and out because I'm lazy. I don't know, it would probably be easier, but I like to get a good coverage down first and then start going in with the little details. Probably not the best way because I'm sure I forget a lot of places, but I don't know, I don't like to be lost when I'm doing it. I like to see what I'm doing. I guess I'm gonna have to zoom in for the face though, because the face has a lot of what I call detail work, and like around the eyes here, I can do up under here, but I have to, this is something where I could color over it with the white. It's not the iris. I just learned what the white part of the eye was recently because I learned that people get that tattooed and it's creepy as all get out, and I can't imagine wanting to do that from the side effects that I heard about, like possible headaches constantly and eye pain, loss of vision. It didn't sound great. God, I can't remember the name of that. But I could color that all in and just color over it, but I kind of like to leave it uncolored, and I can get kind of a good idea of roughly what the eye will look like. And before I go to that, I'm just going to go ahead and go back over this to make sure I get all the little bits that I missed. This is the benefit of zooming into color, because I miss a lot of little gaps and stuff, because I guess I'm hasty. I don't know. I might just be hasty. I like to get things done quick and see it progress. Not really sure what to talk about right now. I have a few things that I want to talk about, but I don't know if I want to bring them out right this second to go over. I guess I mentioned how I wanted to get into this kind of pastel color and more girly stuff, I guess. I don't know if it's so much girly, but cute style art and pastel work and pretty. I call it the pretty stuff, which is a dilemma I have, because I like cute stuff, I like pretty stuff, but I also like disturbing, sad, and depressing stuff. So I've had a hard time marketing myself as an artist, because I have these two sides to my work, and I love both of them equally, really. But recently I just realized, I should just do a different banner and have my cute and girly kind of light fluffy work under that banner, and my other darker, more serious, artwork under the other banner. So I came up with Under the Sleeping Sun, which was actually a idea for a store that I came up with a long time ago, and I'm just reusing the name. I actually had another name that I could have used, but I might use that for something else later on. But Under the Dreaming Sun is going to be the cute, girly, more lighthearted artwork, stuff that's supposed to make you smile and feel better about life. And then my artist Heron will stay the fine art pieces, the dark. They don't always have to be dark, but the more like realistic or gritty stuff will be on there. This is going to be more like animation and stuff that I guess family friendly. It just made more sense for me to go that route, since it's not like I do it because I want to make money. Money is good because you have to have money to live, but I do it because it's a part of me. I like doing cute art. I like cute things, but I also like the dark things, and I like watching horror movies and watching gritty dramas and sad stuff. And my boyfriend doesn't understand why I want to watch that, but I read somewhere It had something to do with being, well, it's not something to do with, but I read that because I'm an INFJ personality type, that we have a penchant for wanting to see that kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe I look at it as just trying to, I don't know, understand other people, like as part of being an empath and having empathy. We may not go through that stuff, but if we watch it through other people, we can understand it or understand where they're coming from. So I feel like that's a large part of why I like to watch what he terms depressing or sad stuff, because I try to understand other people and I try to understand my own life through understanding other people. But I'm getting a little off topic, but that's the basis of my work and why I have these two sides that I liked to draw in. Like, I have these two styles. I have this more realistic, more depressing, more gritty style, and then I have the cute, animation, goofy stuff, and it's been hard to really fit those two in, and it didn't really hit me till now that I should probably just have two different, I don't know if it counts really, but banners or things to work under. So I'm giving it a shot. That's why I opened my Patreon page, and I'm trying to get some support there to help me continue doing this stuff, because it costs money, and I'd do it for free if I could. I mean, technically I'm doing it for free anyway. It's one of those things, if you're gonna do it, you might as well get paid to do it. If you're doing it for free, you might as well get paid to do it. If you're gonna do it anyway, I guess. I don't really know what the saying is, but went in a little too deep on that. So I'm going the Patreon route, and I'd been toying around with that idea for a while, but I didn't know if it was really worth it, or not so much worth it. It would be worth it, but I didn't know what I could give back to my subscribers, because up until recently I've been swamped with work and just surviving, and I didn't think I would have time or resources to provide anything for anybody that would subscribe or support me through Patreon, and I didn't want to let anybody down that put their money towards my work. I feel really bad about that, and I'm in school now, and I have a lot more time, and I've been pushing a lot more products and artwork out that I feel like I could offer at least something to people who subscribe now. And that's why I originally started with $5 monthly subscription, because I feel like I can give you guys stuff for that. Like, originally I was just going to do prints, but with the way things have been going lately, I'm actually going to probably expand that $5 reward to, magnets and other little things that I can do, maybe a larger print than I'm offering right now. And I don't think it's going to be too bad as far as offering stuff, so I feel like now is a good time to do it. It's mostly going to be centered around under the Dreaming Sun banner, because I didn't know this, but Patreon, if you have adult content, you won't be in the search feed or something. You won't be found through searches, so you'll have to do a lot more PR work, I suppose. I don't have a lot of followers, So I don't really foresee anyone finding me other than through searching. Maybe Instagram. You can find me on Instagram through Under the Dreaming Sun or Artist Heron, but you know, most people just like your work and then go about their day. And if you don't keep popping up, you don't keep popping up. Probably get off their radar pretty quick. So I hope Patreon will work out and, you know, I can grow the brand a little bit more. I'm thinking I have my Society 6 store where I'm selling artist hair and stuff. Sorry, I hit the mic. I hope that wasn't too bad. But I have my Society 6 store where I'm selling the artist hair and stuff. But I don't, you know, I was thinking today, I don't want to cross that merchandise with, because, you know, if I have kids come to my stuff because they like Fire Donut Lion because he's cute or whatever, or David the Cupcake, I don't want them to be, you know, confronted with boobs and rib cages and stuff that their parents aren't gonna like seeing, or them seeing. So I'm thinking of probably opening a Redbubble for the Under the Dreaming Sun stuff, but I haven't really looked into it. It was just an idea I had today. Because I mean, all those print-on-demand sites don't give you all that much return for the artist, but every little bit helps. Like when you're making nothing, making something is better than making nothing. And for most of my artistic career, I've made nothing. Sometimes, you know, I make a little something, but it's never that much. So when you're starting at the bottom, you just have to kind of take what you can get. And I know a lot of people, you know, when I tell them, like, oh, we make like a couple dollars off sales on Society 6, they're like, man, that sucks. But if you look at it, it's like, well, before I was making $0 on everything. The couple dollars that you get, you know, it's almost worth it for you. Especially when you're doing it and you're just really happy that people want to buy stuff with your art on it. Sometimes that's all that matters as an artist, is that people like your work. And, you know, sometimes that's all you get. I have to remind myself sometimes, you know, Vincent van Gogh never sold any of his work. Well, I think he sold one painting while he was alive, and he didn't get famous till after he died. It's sad, but that happens to a lot of artists, you know. They just kind of muddle through life and never make anything of it. Kind of confused here. Let me zoom in a little. I'm like, what am I looking at here? It's the problem when it's really light like this. You can't tell where stuff begins and ends. Oh, okay, I think that is part of her finger, but it looked off to me. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You know, a lot of artists struggle all their life and they don't really make anything of their art, but they do it because they love to do it, and it's kind of who they are. And ooh, I think there's some lightning going on. I might have to cut the stream short, but I'm gonna keep going as long as I can. It always seems to happen for me. I try to start stuff and then something happens and I can't do it. I'm like, I was gonna draw today, but I guess we have to go buy stuff, or we have to go to town and go shopping. Yeah, I hear thunder now. This sucks. I'll keep going as long as I can. Looking for my zoom, see where we're at here. There we go, looking pretty good. We'll see how it works out. You know, the background color is temporary. I'm going to do some more stuff with that, but I just need something to see kind of how it's looking and what it looks like. I'm going to get another layer here for her dress. All these are base layers, so Once I get them down, I'll do a little more coloring to it. I don't know if I can grab it here. Nope. Can't find. I'm looking for a blue, but it's getting pink. I know, I should just zoom in. It would be so much easier. I like to make it hard on myself. Let's just go for here. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to make her dress white with shadow. Alright, let's jump in here and see what we got. I'm hoping this storm that's come up isn't going to be too disruptive to what I'm doing. You know, sometimes I get all excited and like, oh shoot, I have to turn everything off. There's a storm. And the storm passes in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, well, that was a big waste of time. So I'm going to try to stick it out. I guess I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a tip here. It's like when you see my cursor going small and big in Photoshop, all I'm doing is hitting the bracket bars, and the big and or the left and right bracket will make it bigger or smaller. It's a keyboard shortcut that helps, you know. If you want to get really good at Photoshop, learn your keyboard shortcuts, because it gives your right hand something to do. Well, it gives my right hand something to do because I'm left-handed, but it'll give your left hand something to do if you're right-handed. Missed something here. See if I can get that up there. I have to color these in too. Let's finish this. I feel like I'm ADD sometimes because I'm all over the place when I'm doing this. No offense to anybody who's ADD out there. I know it's hard to deal with sometimes. We all have our issues, you know. I've got my issues, and my family has their issues, and people I know have issues. Ain't nobody on this planet that ain't got issues. You might think they're perfect, but they're not perfect. People who have money have issues. People who don't have money have issues. It's all different. Oops. Sometimes Photoshop messes up in it. Well, it's more the tablet reads. I don't know if it's the tablet or Photoshop, but it misreads sometimes. But, you know, just keep working on yourself and don't worry too much about what other people think. You know, sometimes I think I'm stupid, or I'm gonna be, you know, I sound weird, so why would I want to be on YouTube live streaming? People are gonna make fun of me or whatnot. But there are plenty of people that do it, and they probably sound weirder than I do, and they're just fine. You just have to do it, you know. Sometimes you just gotta do it, no matter what. And there are gonna be people that like you, and there are gonna be people who hate you. I mean, just yesterday I thought about this. I don't remember what sparked it, but it was a character, I believe, in a TV show, or oh yeah, I think I do remember what it was. I used to follow Terrace House, or I should say still following it, but they haven't released the new episodes. And I remember a lot of flack that Rico and Kirishima had from people because they were keeping their relationship a secret or whatever. And I always thought it was a little bit crazy that they had so many people like ream them out for doing it because they lied. I mean, I think they probably had reasons, but that's kind of off the point. Whether you agree with it or not, there are people that still support them, you know? Even though they're supposedly like the worst people on the planet, there's still tons of people that like both of them. And it kind of made me think, it's like, it doesn't really matter what you do. There are going to be people out there that still support you. I mean, look at Donald Trump. There are so many people that dislike him, and there are so many people that do like him. I'm like, he's the most polarizing person in history right now, at this moment. But he still has people that like him. I mean, if people can like Donald Trump, with all the shit that he's pulled, excuse me, I think you'll be fine. I mean, there are mass murderers that have fans. I'm not saying that y'all should be a mass murderer or anything, but don't be so hard on yourself. If people don't like you, well, that's only a few people. There are going to be people that do like you. Just keep doing, what you know is right for you. Sometimes I have to remind myself of that because I don't have a lot of supporters or friends or people like that in my life. I mean, I have a handful, and that's all I really need, You only need, like, real people in your life. People that really do support you or understand you or get who you are. You don't need a whole bunch of people that just know your name and don't know who you are. Just enjoy what you like doing, and the rest will fall into place. And even if it doesn't, you still like what you're doing, so you're not really losing anything. Sure, it'd be nice if we all have, millions of friends and not have to worry about people stabbing us in the back or lying to us or treating us badly, but that's not the way life is, unfortunately, there's a lot of, bad things in the world, and as a person, you just have to deal with it and pick yourself up and move on. Oh, shoot. And that's something I kind of want to address under my under the Dreaming Sun logo too. Like, you can kind of laugh at your own pain sometimes. Like, nothing's ever that serious that you can't laugh at it. I look back at some hard times in my life and, like, where I was completely devastated, depressed, and just kind of at a loss for what to do in life. And I don't know if I'm necessarily at the point where I can laugh at it, maybe a little, but I can find comedy in it and be like, yeah, that was screwed up, but I came out at the end. Now what do I do here? I feel like I didn't quite finish that. I don't know what to do with her dress. Shoot, going a little far there. But like I was saying, under the Dreaming Sun, I would like to do a few, I call them gag artworks, where it's kind of a pretty picture, but then maybe a morose saying, or a not so happy saying. So I don't know if you would say irony. I always mess up what irony is, but it's a little ironic, don't you think? But I'll try to get some of those worked in a little bit later. Like I'm saying, this is all pretty brand new and up and coming, so I'm mainly trying to get on a schedule and get some content up to get things moving here. I'm trying to get more stuff up on Instagram and stuff for that. So I have things to post and people can get a general idea of like what I'm looking towards doing with this new banner or label. I don't know if I should call it a banner or a label, because they're both kind of right. And I'm sorry if anybody's saying anything as far as chats. I'm not looking at any feed. Oh, I'm just kind of doing it. But back to what I was saying, the label manner, whatever, is just, since it's new, I have to work on building it up and trying to get people introduced to what to expect from it. And I know what to expect from it, it's all in my head, but I have to show it to other people, and the only way to do that is to get started on some art for it. And I have all the art in my head and I'm working on it, but until I get some actual visuals out, I think a lot of people will kind of understand, but they'll be a lot in the dark. So that's my process right now, is getting this stuff up to work. And like I said, this is my second live stream on YouTube. I used to use, pardon me, I'm gonna get some water real quick. Excuse me. But I used to use live stream, not that I did it very often. I didn't really like the setup. It was really confusing, and I don't know, I just didn't really take to it very well. So yesterday when I went on, because I'm like, I'm going to live stream for people, that would make sense, right? That would be really good content for people to see what I do and how to do it. And a lot of artists have started live streaming, and I thought I'd go for it. So I went on live stream yesterday, and I found out that they did away with their free account, and you have to pay. And like I said, I'm broke as a joke, so I ain't gonna be paying no money to stream. I mean, you can't pay with what you ain't got, So I spent a lot of time yesterday just trying to get YouTube up and streaming on that. And it's very bare bones. I'm very bare bones with it. I have a camera, Canon camera, that I would like to set up later, and maybe I could have a picture in the picture. You guys could see me and I could talk to you, but right now I'm just going the best I can with what I got, and it's working out pretty well. Like I'm actually enjoying the format. Like I just put it up and put it on YouTube. I mean, I have these channels that I haven't really done much with, because I've had a lot of ups and downs in the last few years where art hasn't been able to be focused on as much. And I feel like a lot of people, or a lot of artists, are like that. If they don't have the right circumstances in their life, it's hard for them to continue creating at a level needed to be successful at it. And there's nothing like no jealousy, no dogging out anybody who's had the fortunate ability to have help getting where they're getting, or the luck of being in the right place, the right time, or there's a lot of factors that go into success. And sometimes it's hard to not be jealous of that. I mean, I think it's just human nature to be jealous, but don't hate on anybody for it. Just because they got what they got, even if you have to work a little bit harder for it, you can still make something of yourself. You might have to go about it different ways, or you might have to, lower your expectations, or change your expectations. When I was starting out, I wanted to be a Disney animator, and not just a Disney animator. I wanted to animate 2D movies. I'm big on 2D stuff. Something I like. Well, that didn't happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. It'd be, I don't know, miraculous. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's in the cards for me. that was something I had to wake up from my idealistic dream. I like animating. I think I could be a pretty good animator if I really put myself to it, but I don't think I have the drive to do it, or at least I've floundered on the drive. I know some really great animators, like personally, and the ones that really make it are the ones that really push themselves into it, and I've always had an excuse. And I think part of that is, there's, like I said, multi-factors in it. Like, one of my excuses is not having the right equipment, or not having the money, or, having to work a job, an actual job that doesn't allow you time to come home and animate. Oh, but you could animate if you weren't so tired and just drained from life, It's just a lot of factors, and some people can overcome them and other people can't. And I've been fighting to overcome them for a while now. And I do want to do some animation while working on Under the Dreaming Sun, like producing shorts for that. Nothing elaborate, because that's another one of the issues that I have, is I try to go too elaborate for my skill set. I'm just not skill set, and I can't think of the word, equipment. Like, I can't produce a feature-length film. It might take me 10 years to do it, or longer. Some people can do it, some people can find funding and get it together, but you have to look at your circumstances and determine, like, what can you do and what is feasible for you to do. Because you can't just think that everything will work out and it'll be okay. You have to look at what you can do and what you can't do. And that was something that took me a long time to realize, that, hey, I can't do this. I have to find another way around. So I want to do some animation, but I want to start out with, like, short animations and do little clips here and there and just get a little bit better. Maybe not be so hard on myself when things don't look perfect, because it's all going to be about learning and doing what you can do and knowing what you can't do. I mean, it's been a long time since I graduated from SCAD. So I'm rusty on a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff's changed. I see the kids coming out now, like, with reels that were so much better than mine ever was when I finished. And they've learned different equipment, and they've learned how to do it digitally. I'm still not too comfortable drawing digitally, like animating that way. And so it takes me a little bit longer. I think it'll take me a little bit longer to get used to that. So, I just have all these ideas that I want to work on and push myself through. It's just a little at a time, And like I say, don't feel too bad about it. Sometimes, if stuff doesn't work out, that might be a little too dark. I want it to be a little bit darker than a dress, but not super dark. Sometimes things will work out and sometimes they won't. There's still value in doing it, Oops. Let me make this a little smaller. Oops. It's just, if you really want something, you'll keep working at it. You might have to go a roundabout way. It might not be a straight path. But if it's something you really want, you'll know it and you'll do it. I could have gave up on art very long time ago, but I know it's a part of me, and I know it's what I have to do, you know. I may not be the best. I may not ever be the best. I may not make hardly any money, if any money from it, but I'm always going to do it on some level. It's just part of who I am. I've been doing it since I was probably 6 or 7. I don't know, first grade. How old people are in first grade. And I haven't stopped, and I've had a lot of people tell me that it was a waste of time, or you're not going to make anything of yourself with that, or, you know, there's a lot of naysaying in it. I'm sure there are plenty of people who think what I'm doing now is stupid, like a waste of time, or waiting for me to fail once again. Well, look what she's doing this time. She ain't never going to do anything with that. Well, it doesn't matter what other people say, you know. You just have to try. I just keep trying, and either I'll keep failing or I'll succeed. It doesn't really matter in the end. I mean, whether you succeed or fail, as long as you're doing something you're happy with, that's the end of it all, you know. Do something that you're happy with. Let's see what we got here. Not looking too bad. A few more things to fill in, and I don't know if I want to do any shading today. I mainly just kind of don't know what to do or what I want to do with shading. I don't know if I want to do a soft shade or a cell shade style or what. So I'll figure that out as we go, I guess. Let's see. I'm going to do this bow here. New layer, bow. I guess I'll take the time to label stuff because it's a lot easier to find than flipping around constantly trying to find, oh, what label was this, or which one was that? Let's see, I want a little bit lighter. And paint. Sometimes I use my keyboard shortcut, sometimes I use the buttons. It just depends on how lazy my right hand is. Oh, what am I doing? Here we go. Uh-oh. I mean, I probably could just erase that, but sometimes I'm all over the place. Probably noticed that from the way I'm talking, all over the place. But I feel like maybe that's a little more interesting for you guys to hear me blather on about this and that, rather than just see me color in stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's helpful or interesting, but you know, it's something. Hey, I don't care if you mute me and turn on the music. If you just want to see me color, that's cool too. I'm just trying to, I guess, offer some insight into why I'm doing what I'm doing, and maybe some tips on what I'm doing or how I do what I'm doing. That's one thing about the first live stream. I wish I could explain more of like why I'm coloring the lines this way, or why I'm doing this, or what this button does and whatnot. I don't color my lines too often, but that's one of the things I've recently started to try to do. And I'm just, I guess, kind of curious about how it will change the art. Like, that's one of the things. Like, I have the original lines here, which should be at top. If I turn it on and turn this off, you can see how different the picture looks. Like, I almost like that better, but that's not that would be what I would consider my old style, almost animation style, like dark lines and then colored. But if I turn on this, you know, it's so much softer. It looks more you know, it's harder to see right now because I don't have shading and stuff on it. But it's also on a monitor, which washes out colors. But I want to try out the colored line and just, you know, try to push myself to try new things, especially with this new line. And sometimes I feel like that's a problem for me, that I don't have a set style. My style feels like it's all over the place, but I just like to try different things and see how different things look. And you know, I don't know, I think in my mind I see a piece and it looks a certain way. It may not be the same way every time, but it's how it looks in my mind, or how I want to try it. I don't really find that to be a problem. I don't think you need to have a specific style. I think it helps because people can find you easier in the wild. Like if you found some of my work on a different website, if it looks different from my other work, then you're probably not going to know it's me that did it, or link back to me, or you might just not like that style. Because I know I've found things from other artists that I like, and I'm like, hey, that's so and so. And, you know, I don't know why, but it makes me happy. Like I found an Easter egg or something. But it's just, I don't know, something I do, it changes. My style changes, and I feel like there's probably a little bit of similarity in it, but overall it's different. Some people would say that's a bad thing, like every artist should have their own style. I hope you guys can still hear me. I don't know, I haven't really been paying attention to how well the mic's doing, so but yeah, they say you should have a consistent style, and that's what makes you a real artist, you know. You have a consistent style, but it's all hogwash, because who knows what a real artist is or not, you know. You just do what you like. And get some more water. I'm been having allergy issues lately. And a lot of the weather has been messing me up. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot something. On the keyboard, bring up your eyedropper. I'll pick that and brush, because I forgot her feet. I tend to do that a lot. Notice that I forgot a part on one of my artworks. And, you know, I have to go back and fix it. I'm like, gosh, darn it. It's frustrating with myself. I'm like, what are you doing? Come on, get it together. And, I don't know. I place a lot of pressure on myself. I'd like to say I'm a perfectionist, but then it doesn't feel like I'm a perfectionist, because I see a lot of things and I'm like, well, this isn't perfection at all. I'm just hard on myself. Alright, I think the only thing left, we have the rose and a few other odds and ends. The rose, since there's not too much involved with it, as far as like, it's not that big, I'm going to color it all on the same layer instead of separating it into the rose and the stem, you know. Went a little too over. And that's just calls that you learn as you get better or more familiar with your strengths and weaknesses. You can make those calls and be like, yeah, I can put all this on the same. My line work on this is kind of rough because I never really meant to go too in depth with this piece. And like I said, I'm still really green on doing digital work, so I'm still learning myself, trying to get better at it. I don't know, is that too much? So my line work on this is really messy and kind of all over the place. I'm actually gonna erase that because I like it to be more. Now I can go back in my line work and erase some of this stuff to clean it up. Like if I went up here to color lines, I have to take off the locked transparency, and then I can just go in and clean it up a little bit. To make that not so sketchy. But yeah, I locked the transparency on this, so I can't draw on it or erase stuff that I don't want erased. I'll explain it better at a different time. Now I need the green part of this, which I'm going to, I think, make it lighter. Oh. When I do this and I see this little like warning thing, it pretty much means like I'm out of the color range for like printable colors. Your screen monitor can pick up a lot more colors than your printer can print, or a printer can print. So if you stay in like the range, you'll either, if you go out of range, you'll get that little warning box. So I'll try to stay in the range for that. And I'm on the wrong layer. That's another thing that I'm bad about, is working on the wrong layer. And I don't know if that's a good one. I might have to make that darker, because I can't see that at all. So I'm going to just go down. Let's go a darker range like this. It might make it look nicer. You know, I say I'm working in pastels, or I want this piece to be mostly pastel inspired. But that doesn't mean all your pieces have to look white or really light. You can go a little bit darker to get a nice contrast. Just don't go too bright, you know? I do notice that this is kind of hard on the eyes, or at least my eyes, to color. Let me see. I have this on. Let me turn it off so I can see what I got here. That's why I have two different colored backgrounds, so I can kind of use one or the other to see what gaps I have in my work or my coloring. Alright. Not too ooh, see, there it went. Shot up a big old blob. See, I got a gap there too, so I need to, this is where I'll mess up. I need my eyedropper, right? And I'm like, oh, I'll just start coloring here, but I'm on the wrong layer. So I'll easily forget that I'm on the wrong layer and start coloring something. Realize a long time after, before, like so long after, that I can't easily go back and fix it, and then I'm just like mad at myself for being an idiot and not paying attention. And that's, I think the biggest problem is you just don't pay attention to what you're doing and you kind of screw yourself up. Okay, let me I'm trying to think how I want to label this next one. Dress gold, I guess, or I know what I'm just gonna say, gold accents, because I don't want to get too many different layers, because that will really bog down your file. What am I doing here? I thought I changed it. but it didn't. You see where I messed up? I put an eye on the end. Now I see what happened. I thought I changed to my eyedropper, but I didn't. Here's the problem. I'm trying to get a dark gold here. It still didn't choose the right thing. That's fine, because I need to go over here anyway. Okay. So I want to put all the gold accents on the same layer, because I'm not going to make separate layers and it'll make my file really big. So I'm just putting all this stuff on the same layer because it's all the same color. And I noticed a little spot here that I need to fix up. Some of this stuff's nitpicky of me, but I notice it. Other people probably wouldn't notice it if I printed it out or whatnot. Maybe they would, maybe it wouldn't bother them, but for me it like really bothers me. I've noticed something over talking for this video. It's like I'm getting really dry mouth from talking and talking and talking, which I mean you have to do, but what I find funny is, you know, you have conversations in real life and you don't get so dried out from it, and maybe that's because there's more back and forth or more pauses, but I mean, you're straight up talking for, I don't know, has it been an hour? I guess I could go down here and find out. 6:30, I don't know when I started, but it definitely dries your mouth out when you're just talking on your own by yourself. Oh, what am I doing? I'm going out of the lines. Oh yeah, I'm thinking I'll probably just wind this up after I get it all colored and, you know, work on the shading in the next video. I don't know if I might, before doing the next video, do some tests to see what kind of color scheme I want to do, or shading I want to do for this before I start a video, because I don't know if it'll be interesting to watch. It might be frustrating because I'm going to be doing a lot of like testing on it and a lot of back and forth, and I don't think that'll be too interesting to watch, especially since I don't know exactly what I want to do. So I might try some of that later tonight. I also need to draw up the logo and stuff for the Dreaming Sun, so I'm thinking of doing that sometime. I don't know if I want to do a live stream for it. Maybe I can do a live stream for the Illustrator work. Usually what I like to do is draw up my image and then take that traditional drawing and put it into Illustrator or Photoshop and work that way. So I could probably do that for everybody to watch if they're interested. Talk about that a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure, you know, what I'm going to do as far as that is concerned at this time. Just doing a little cleanup here. I noticed two things that I need to do before we call it a day on this coloring, and one of them's that heart, and then these, and I have her eyes, but I don't know what I want to do with them yet. I think I know what I should do. Let's do the dress first. I'm gonna add these to the dress since, you know, they're just little ornaments and they're the same color as her dress. My hand is being used to prop my head up right now, so I need to fill this in Make sure I was on the dress there. There we go. I think that's got it. Come up here, fill these in. I'm going to fill in her eyes on a different layer. Just trying to think about like how I want to color her eyes. I see a lot of artists on Instagram that have unique eye coloring styles. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. They're like multicolored eyes, rainbow eyes, I guess. I don't know. And I find that to be really unique and fascinating, but I don't think I'd want to do it in my work. Maybe I just equate it to their style, but I don't know. I guess I don't mean this to sound like disparaging or bad, but it's like overkill for me. I think it's awesome, and it definitely works for them, but for me it'd be overkill. Like, I think just because I can't do it, it would be overkill, if that makes sense. It's not so much that it's bad, but they know what they're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing, so it'd probably look really trash, where theirs looks really great. And, you know, that's what I'm saying, like, know your limits. But the only way to know your limits is to work at them, you know. You have to try something before you know if you can do it or not. You know, I don't know. I think this will be fine. It was going so well and I screwed up. That's... thought the eraser would help out, but it didn't. It might not be too bad. It's a little, to me, off here. Okay. Now, let's see what we got here. See, I don't know if I should fix that or not. See, I have this layer on top of the skin layer, so if I draw over it like this, you could see it. But if I were to move this layer under the skin layer, you wouldn't see it. So that's why I'm trying to be extra careful with my coloring right now. Because I'm trying to make it barely go over that skin layer. And I don't know really why I have the iris not colored in white, because I could pretty much do that. It wouldn't be a problem because I'm going to color it over blue anyway. But in my mind, I have to have it very stringent. This. Don't screw it up. Otherwise, let's see. I'm actually going to go. How about? I don't know if I should. Maybe that. Maybe. Oh, see, I got that box there. I can use this, but I need to move it into a different realm. Oh, I don't like that color at all. Oh, too far up? There. Let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's not too bad. It might be too dark for her iris, because originally I was going to do it very light colored. Now I'm not so sure. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll just try it out. I could always make that darker, but I'm thinking of this being the darkest shade, and then I can always go back in over top of it and make it a lighter shade to give it that depth. You know, your mind changes as you work on stuff. And then one last place here, which I'm just going to throw on the skin layer because, like I said, I don't want to get too many different layers on here. That's good. That looks good. Let's see. I have to get a little bit closer here. So I have actually two different parts. And they're just barely noticeable, but I know they're there, and if I don't do it correct, it will not be right, and it will bother the crap out of me. So, let's see. I just did that on the skin layer, because like I said, it's just a small part of it. So, let's back up and see what we got. Now, I think it looks pretty good. You know, one thing I have not done for a long time, and it was a bad thing? I didn't save. And if my computer crashed or if Photoshop crashed, I could have lost a lot of work that I just did. So you should save frequently, not to screw up. But what I wanted to say is it's not looking too bad. It's kind of hard to see. Go up here and later. Kind of hard to see here. Like you don't have much like variation. I'm also like zoomed all the way out. But as I add shading, I think that will come out a little bit more. I just noticed something else I forgot. And, you know, it's just a process. You can tweak colors as you go. Take layer 6 off there. I'm going to go in and, where is the gold accents? I'm going to let us select a nice pink heart color. I don't know what color to use. Oh, there. I forgot the heart here. You know, not bad. It looks like it's not fully colored either. And that's the thing, like when you zoom in, you'll start to notice a lot of little details that you missed or didn't fully color in. Zoom out. Alright. Let me see what it looks like without that layer. Not too bad. I like the pink a lot because it stands out. But I'll definitely have to do a little more on the skin layer. Like it's not too bad here, but in her face you can't see very well. I could try, where is it? The colored lines. I'm going to try to select, let's see if this works, the color range of this color range. And say, okay, let's see what happens. It did not select what I thought it was. This is what I'm talking about when I play around with stuff. That should be there, and if I say select color range, it should just select the range that I wanted. Okay, but it's still, if I take this, see, it won't let me do anything. Huh, weird. So that's something I'll have to work on. Like I was thinking I could just take a new color. Where am I at? Color lines. It's locked. Take a color. I have it kind of white. I could make it a little darker. Like this might be the same color. See what it looks like. See, it's still a little too bright. I could maybe. Lighten it up a lot more. It's still going to disappear a bit. And that's what I'm talking about, like playing around with stuff. Because I can see it here, but then I'm not so sure if I was thinking making it like a brown. Wrong layer, dummy. See, then that will change the look of it substantially. So I'm going to back off on that. Again, I don't know what I changed, so I'm going to file save that, or control save. And I think that's going to be it for me today. Yeah, I'll try to get up another live video soon. I'll see you next time.